Hi, I'm Lori Rose. I talk about media, pop culture, entertainment, kind of whatever. I'm back. This is the second part of my three-part series on Epic Universe. I'm trying to figure out this mic thing. I don't really know. Maybe it's not good. Maybe I'll have to re-record this. I don't know. Let's get started. This is part 2 of my Epic Universe review. The first part was like a prologue. This is the actual review where we're getting down and dirty and we're going to talk about the park. And then my next part, like I said, is the accessibility review. I'm so happy to see you guys. How are you? I'm off work today, so I'm like really glammed up, if you can't tell. I've kind of decided it's already fall. It's not even August yet, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. It's the season of fall. Like I feel like every year has the season. 2016 was a summer year. 2019 was a summer year. 2025 is a fall year. I'm ready. I'm so ready. Let's get into this. If you happen to be unaware, Epic Universe is Universal Orlando's newest park at their resort in Florida. It is so incredible. It's a long time coming for them to get a third theme. I think they consider Volcano Bay to be their third theme park and this to be their fourth. I'm not really a water park person, so I will debate that. But I'll say it's their fourth because if they say it's their fourth park. It just opened this year. It opened, I believe, May 22nd, and I went on June 9th. It was really a priority for me to go very early once I saw the media preview days. Originally, I was gonna wait a little bit because I was like, oh, like I don't need to make another trip. And then, well, I ended up going because I saw the videos and I was like, oh, I am not gonna be able to avoid spoilers of this park, which is kind of what I'm afraid of with new theme parks. It's like I like to experience these things with my own eyes and not over my phone or a YouTube video of people like going like a ride through or whatever. I just do not like that. I wanted, especially Monsters Unchained was kind of my number one. I need to see this IRL. And then second was the Harry Potter ride. And then it was the shows. And then it was some other stuff. The only thing that I was kind of unconcerned about was the Mario Kart ride because I'd already seen that. And I was like, I knew I wasn't really excited for that. I mean, whatever, but it's been open in other parks. But everything that was new, I was like, I want to be like blind. I want to go in and just experience it. I'm sure if you're watching this, you know it's a big deal, but it is like a massive deal for fans of themed entertainment and theme parks because there just hasn't been a new park that opened at this scale in like decades, I guess, years. It's been a long time. So this is a very exciting thing and I'm so excited. I'm also so grateful I got to go. It was me and my two brothers that went. It was a birthday trip for me, and I was like, I was gonna go alone because my friends that I usually go to theme parks with were both busy, and then I was like, oh, let me bring a family member so I can talk to somebody while I'm there because I am a yapper. And I was like gonna bring one of my parents, and then I was like, oh, let me bring my dad because he has off easier, and he was like, well, if I go, your 13-year-old brother has to go. And I was like, ow. I guess I have no choice in this. And then it became, oh, I'm not going, your other brother is going too. And I was like, oh, so I'm babysitting? He's like, well, no, Ryan could watch. I was like, is he gonna though? Is he gonna watch? Is the other brother gonna watch? Yeah, it ended up being not exactly how I planned it, but it was also a fantastic, wonderful day, and I was really happy at times. I'm gonna get into this review now. In the comments, I do want to hear about your experiences, what you're excited about. This is gonna be a spoiler review. I don't even want to lie. I am gonna talk spoilers. So if you want to know things, you can watch it. If you don't want to know things, don't watch this. I'm gonna be honest, which is maybe not the smartest thing to do as I'm restarting this channel, to be like, don't watch this. But I want to be so honest and not have you be surprised because that's why I went so early. So let's get into this very spoiler heavy review, but also not too spoiler heavy. I'm not going to be showing you ride videos, I guess is the answer. So I'm going to go through a timeline of our day. I think it's really important just to kind of get a lay of how our day went. We did a 3-day trip. We arrived, we stayed at Stella Nova, and then the next day we went to Epic Universe, and the next day we left, and that was it. It was a very easy, short trip just to see Epic. Stella Nova is a really nice hotel. I think there are some issues with it. I think it's very nice on the surface. And then as you kind of get in deeper, it's like, oh, there's some problems I have with it. A big problem I have is why is those star things only on one floor? The star ceiling in the hallway it's only on like the 3rd floor. So every other floor just has a normal hallway, which is like really not the end of the world. But I'm like, oh, I kind of wanted to see that. The food was not good and really expensive. That is a be warned. Also, just don't get coffee there because that was also not good and really expensive. Just wait till you get to the theme park, frankly, because I was not feeling it. One thing that is fantastic at Stella Nova is the gym. If you have time, go to the gym. Mostly because no one's going to that thing. It was dead, and we went, and it was beautiful and clean and fantastic and crazy good equipment for a hotel gym, like cable machines, kind of any machine you could want, a Stairmaster, a bunch of treadmills, a bunch of different types of treadmills, bikes, rowing. Go to the gym while you're staying there. And the pool was nice. I got an incredible drink from the pool bar. It was delicious and frozen, and I don't even remember what was in it, but it was so good. So the next day we walked to Epic Universe. That is one really good perk of staying at Stella Nova, is that it is a really quick walk over to the park. We got there so early. There was only a tiny bit of a line, and we're like, okay, perfect. This is good. I got my accessibility stuff set up in the morning. It was easy. Then they let us through into the park. This is where things got a little bit funky though. I just didn't do much research, I guess, into this part. But my brothers really wanted to go to Nintendo World first, and I was like, okay, fine, we'll rope drop Minecart Madness. Cool, we'll do that. So we get in the rope drop area for Mario, and it was so hot. Like, we were underneath the shelter bit next to Moonship Chocolates, and there were so many people, and thank God I had my little fan or I would have died. Like, I would have been so sick in a real way because it was really hot and there was just so many people, and it was like a little miserable because like I think the wind was coming from the direction of where like the building was, so there was little airflow. We were so ready. We were like, maybe we should have just like waited back there or something because it is so hot. That wasn't that long, and we were being a bit dramatic because it was early in the morning and none of us had really had like breakfast or coffee or anything yet. We then got to, rope drop Nintendo, and it was so cool in like insane ways. Going up the pipe and seeing the like Nintendo area. Wow. First impressions of that were crazy. Seeing the paintings of Peach, like Peach's castle, like in the video game. That was so cool. So we rode Minecart Madness and then Yoshi right after because it was a really short wait. And we're like, well, we'll just get this done now. And that was really fun. I'm going to go more into detail about all of this in my each individual land reviews, which I'll do in the next part of this video. Then we went to Dark Universe to get some of that knocked out while it was really low weights, like with the werewolf and then Monsters Unchained. Monsters was maybe the best ride I've ever ridden in my whole life. I am a stan. I have a t-shirt. I have pins. I have another pin based on this ride. I loved it so much. Fantastic. And werewolf, what? I'm gonna get back to this. Then we got a little bit of a snack. My brothers ate a Franken pretzel, and I have to talk about Screaming Berry. At Epic Universe, there are specialty soda flavors in like the Coke Freestyle things. And I think there's 4 of them. And maybe there's 3. There might be only 3. I don't remember. But the Screaming Berry flavor, I could drink it all day long. And I think I kept going back. I was like, I need more. And then at the end of the night, right before we left, I was like, I have to run to Screaming Berry to get this before the Dark Universe portion closed. Because if I can't have more, I'm going to die. That was my first Screaming Berry of the day. Get the reusable cup. That's my biggest advice. Get that reusable cup. And then actually the rest of the night is kind of fuzzy of what we did because we were kind of everywhere. We might have went to... I think then we went and we tried to get the accessibility pass for Harry Potter while we went over to, then we went over to Isle of Berk. The middle of the day was fuzzy, and we're not going to get into it because I should have done this a lot sooner. It's been like it's been almost 2 months, a month and a half since I was at this park. So we're not going to go through the day plan again. Just know that I was there and that it started in Nintendo and it was really hot. I guess we'll review park section by park section. And I guess we'll start with Celestial Park because it is the hub. It's where you enter, you see like the beautiful gardens. There's 2 rides. There's Stardust Racers and the Carousel. I think it's the Constellation Carousel. I only rode one of those. I rode the Constellation Carousel at the end of the night, and I was like, I just got really dizzy on that. And I don't usually get dizzy on spinny rides, but I was just like so overheated, and I was so like, it was too much that I didn't get to ride Stardust Racers at the end of the night. I probably shouldn't have anyway, because I wasn't feeling well before I even got on the carousel. I should have done it way earlier in the morning for it to be like a thing I could do. Stardust Racers will be a next time ride. My brothers loved it, which is kind of all that matters with a roller coaster. The only food we really ate in Celestial Park was the ice cream place that I don't remember the name of. It was good. Some of the toppings were not the best, and I was like, it was okay, is all I'm gonna say. I wasn't like mind blown by this ice cream. It was just kind of good soft serve. And we walked into Pizza Moon, and that was really pretty. That's about all. You know, there's not much to say about Celestial Park. I guess the main thing is that for most of the day, Stardust Racers was down because there was lightning in the area. It was not raining. There was lightning in the area within, like, I guess the distance that you had to have lightning for it to shut down. And it was, along with many other rides in the park. I really liked the vibe. It felt very nice to walk around, but also kind of barren, which is a common thing I will say about this theme park because it is so new. Things just haven't settled yet, I guess. It was really pretty, and I love that. There was one part I did really, really enjoy, and it was when you could walk actually through the gardens and next to the water. I think that's really nice. But I felt like it was very, very sprawling and spread out, and that almost did it a disservice to where I was like, this feels like kind of nothing. But then again, like I said, there are places that are like very magical and garden-esque, and looking at the Atlantic from the distance, you're like, wow, this is so pretty. And being able to see all the portals is also really nice. And then the statues are great. You know, I think it is just opening, year problems that I will be describing with that, at least for this part. Next, we'll talk about the first land we went into, which is Super Nintendo World. I will say, I feel like I had 2 very different experiences when I went first thing in the morning for rope drop versus later in the day. But first, as you can see, I did buy the Power Up band. I got Yoshi. I'm really happy I did grab it. But like I said, the first time I went in, it was like you walk in, you're in the video game. It is immersive. It is fantastic. And there is a lot to do, which is something I will like really, give credit to Nintendo Land, Nintendo World, is that there is something to do kind of everywhere. There are also 3 rides, which spectacular for this park somehow is 3 rides is like a feat. I don't really like the Mario Kart ride. I will say that. It kind of gave me a headache, but here's the thing. I shouldn't have worn the glasses. If you think going to the Mario Kart ride and you're like, oh, having a screen that close to my eyes is going to give me a headache, maybe don't wear the screen. I should have taken it off, because when I was like looking off the screen and took it off halfway through the ride, I was like, okay, maybe this is what I should have done the whole time. Mario Kart is okay. It's always a long wait, but the queue is fantastic. It is so good. I love the library aspect of of Bowser's castle. Just know that there's a secret second queue in there. If you were unaware, so you wait through the regular queue, and then there's like a place where you get like the goggles, and then you go to a second room and you like kind of stand there and it gives you rules. And then you go to another room where it stands you and gives you like kind of more explanation. And then you're in another line. So there's a secret second line, and it's not as bad, except it's fully down a set of stairs. Was not expecting that. Honestly, should have taken the elevator, but whatever. Just know that there's another set of stair line at the end, and then you get on the ride. Minecart Madness, the other ride in Epic Universe, which is the first ride we rode all day. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. It is silly. It is a cute coaster. It's great for families, great for kids, great for everybody, honestly. Don't expect super high thrills, but expect like a fun time. It's well themed. There's, great figures. It's like kind of silly, you're jumping the track. I just really liked it. I think it's one of my favorite rides of the day, I'm not gonna lie. And then Yoshi, it was cute. It's a people mover style ride, so there really isn't much to say about it. I think it gives you really good views. I am glad we rode it really early in the morning because it is exposed to the elements in a really crazy way. So if you want to ride it, think about what time you're riding it and try to hit it, early morning or very end of the day, because I don't think that it would be pleasant doing it like right in the middle of the heat if you're going in like a hot season, which is Florida, so it's kind of always a hot season. And now I am going to talk about the Power Up Band. I actually did not do too much of this My brother and I shared this, and then my other brother had his own because he's 13. I think it's really fantastic. I really liked the games. Like, they were actually interactive, and you have to do it and like touch things and crank things and play games versus something I'll talk about later. And it was only $50, which is kind of a lot, but you can reuse it, and it was like fun to play the games. Only problem, it was so busy. Oh my gosh, trying to get it done with the amount of people surrounding you, overwhelming. And I'm not gonna lie, my biggest complaint about Nintendo Land is the layout, because the way it is you go up an escalator through the tube, pipe, whatever, and then you end up like on the top floor, essentially, of the park, of Nintendo Land. So the top floor is like Peach's Castle, there's some games, there's the entrance to Mario Kart, a food thing, and then like a character meet area. And then you can go downstairs and end up at the bottom where there's like the entrance to Yoshi, there's Toadstool Cafe, and then you go back and it's Donkey Kong. It is a pit of trapping heat and concrete and reflective colors. It's so cartoon video game accurate that it is so bright, and those bright colors are reflecting that Florida sun. It is all concrete. And honestly, very little shade. There was many times that I was like, guys, I need to get out of here. I need to go stand in that shaded corner. You guys can play the games. I am okay to skip them. Should have done, like I said, this is another thing where it's like, oh, you kind of have to do it, end of day or beginning of day, because it's really hot. I will say that the end little mini game you do where you like win and you fight, is it Bowser Jr.? I think it's Bowser Jr. That was really fun, and even though like there was only 2 bands between the 3 of us, if you don't have a band but you're with someone that has a band that's completed, you can still do that thing. You still get to complete the challenge with them. You don't have to be left out of that experience, which was really nice. Sorry, my freaking camera died. So let's get back into it. Where was I? Dark Universe? I think I was in Dark Universe. Anyway, so Dark Universe is fantastic in some ways and not great in others. I guess I'll start with probably the best part. I think it's a really good entrance. I think it's really well themed. It's the Frankenstein Manor is menacing, and Monsters Unchained was maybe the best ride in the whole park. The animatronics in that, astounding. If you can avoid spoilers for this ride before going on it, I highly recommend. I think it gives you the best ride experience. The animatronics for the Phantom of the Opera and the Mummy, I was expecting a lot of these animatronics. Like, I kind of knew some details. I was not expecting that Mummy animatronic to come down over top. And I was like genuinely like, oh my God. And then the little jump scare I kept getting jump scared by the water, by the creature. Every single time I got jump scared by him. Very silly, very funny. That's on me. I should know he was there. I wrote it 3 times. Because something that's really magical about this Monsters Unchained ride is that the ride per hour, the capacity of this ride is insane. Oh my gosh. It made me get up to a 45-minute wait that day, and we, at one point it was at like a 20-minute wait, 15-minute wait, and we just kept rewriting it because it was so much fun. There is one part, and I think it's pretty early in the ride, where like I think it's like right at the beginning, they kind of like tilt you down and then tilt you back up, and every single time I slammed my head against the back of the seat. So be aware of that. And I think this is really the masterful storytelling that we were anticipating from this park. It was, I think, most people's highly anticipated ride, and I do think it pays off. I think the story is really good. I think the whole castle is incredible. The queue is incredible. It is just mind-blowing. And then there's the other ride at the park, the werewolf ride. This was a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie. And I think it's not awful, but I wish it was a bit more. I think there are aspects where they kind of where they put something and I'm like, well, I kind of wish you just didn't put anything. And I'm talking about the mannequin at the end. I didn't need that. I think I wouldn't have been as upset if there was just nothing there. But there being just a mannequin that's just like kind of pointing, and I think she's just pointing. I don't remember what she's doing. It was just a mannequin figure. And she was just there. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't even see the werewolf. And again, I don't think I would have been as disappointed in that ride if there was a third ride in Dark Universe, but there wasn't. There was 2 rides. In Dark Universe, there's 2 rides and 1 paid experience with the monster makeup thing. And that leads us to my biggest disappointment in the whole park, which is the Harry Potter section. Now, I am like not really a big Harry Potter fan. Like the books were good. I like the movies a lot better, actually. And I love the original Harry Potter theme park at Islands of Adventure. I think it's fantastic storytelling. And I do think that this is really well thought out and well planned on the outside. I think the Paris section is gorgeous. Just walking around is beautiful. It's so, you feel like you're there. It is astounding. And it's so, like, I got so many great pictures, and just walking around and looking at the details is so great. I'm going to save the ride till the end. I am going to say I did not see the show because we waited in line for it earlier in the day, and then it broke down. And then we went back and it broke down again. And then we tried to get on in the last one and it was full. Whatever. Didn't see the show. That's fine. And the other thing you could do in the area, other than eat and shop, is the wand experience. Now, this is a very technologically advanced game. You know, they've implemented a lot of really cool features. It is $80 though. $80? $80 for a piece of plastic? And like, granted, I spent $50 on this, but I would say the difference between this and the Harry Potter thing is that this, you actually like played the games. Like, they were like immersive gameplay. The Harry Potter one, you're kind of just waving the wand. Like, I think there is some really cool features, but at the end of the day, this one ends with the game. That one, you wave a wand and something happens, which is cool, but I can get the same effect by just watching somebody else do it. I don't really have to do that for $80 especially. So, okay, you know, if the show's down and you don't want to pay $80, then there's still the ride. This was my, you know, second top anticipated thing, the ride in this whole park. There was amazing reviews. Everyone loved it. Everyone was like, oh my God, it's so immersive. It's so cool. And you know what? The queue was really immersive and cool. I think it was really well designed. I think they're amazing creative minds were put to work in crafting such a, you know, the space feels big. I think pictures make it look bigger, but it feels very big, and it feels like you are on a movie set, which is really, really cool. And then, you know, obviously I missed a lot of the queue because I have the accessibility pass, so you kind of bypass a lot of the stuff. And I asked that. I was like, hey, like, how much of this queue am I missing? And they're like, oh, not that much. And, you know, maybe I missed some important story beats. But the fact is if there is an important story beat that you need to know before getting on this ride, make a pre-show. Give me a pre-show, an actual one, a room pre-show. I gotta be honest, I had almost no idea what was happening. Like, I knew I knew Umbridge was getting arrested. Or, no, I knew it was Umbridge's trial. And I knew there was a house elf. And I only knew from prior knowledge that it was her house elf. And maybe they say it in the ride, I don't remember. But the fact is, the ride made 0 sense. I was confused. I was lost. They also took some weird turns where I thought it was going to go one really cool way, and then it didn't. Like, at the end when she's like, go back to the time of Voldemort, I'm like, oh, this is where the ride's going to get good. Yeah. No, that was kind of where the ride ended. Like, she just got, like, sucked into the time turner, and which I didn't understand. I was like, oh, she's dead? No. And then she pops up. I'm like, well, she got just sucked into the time turner. Why are we here then? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. I also think the screens looked good, but with those animatronics, you could tell what was screen and what wasn't. And that's a, you know, kind of a minor complaint, but I didn't like it. I thought it wasn't that exciting, and I was trying to just figure out what was happening. I do think the magical creature animatronic was cool. Don't get me wrong, I think that was really nice. I just was so unimpressed. And then I got off of it and I was like, well, that wasn't that bad. And my brother's like, that's awful. And I'm like, well, it's maybe not to be that harsh. And now sitting on it, no, it was pretty bad. I think if I waited 3 to 5 hours for that ride, I would have went to guest services and been like, I need some compensation because that was so god awful to have me wait 5 hours for that. And you know what? Maybe someone's favorite ride. And I respect that. I really do. But I do think it is a good secondary ride. I think it didn't need all of these bells and whistles, and it could have been an incredible second ride. It's not first ride level. I wouldn't put it anywhere near Forbidden Journey. And from what I've heard, this was supposed to be in one of the other parks. I think in the original Universal Studios park. And I can feel it because it doesn't feel like a main attraction. And I think it is also indicative of a bigger problem with this area in that what is happening? I actually know what's happening. It's that they were planning this land around Fantastic Beasts, and then that movie fell apart. They did not do well. People didn't like it. So we're like, oh no, we gotta redo this. And so the ride is Harry Potter and not Fantastic Beasts. And you're just kind of left like, why am I in Paris? And then why am I in the Ministry? And it feels just like wrong and disconnected and confusing, and that like just continues into the ride. And it doesn't, like, it being confusing and the storytelling being kind of bad does not, take away from the like beauty of this area. Because I do think the Paris area is beautiful. It has some of the best food in the park, I think. And I'm just talking about the baguette. It's like a turkey and brie and apple baguette, and I can get it gluten-free. And it was so good. I could eat it every day. And it was a really good size salad as well. I love a light salad with a really light vinaigrette. It's my favorite thing to eat. So I'm gonna give it that. I got some really good macarons from there. And I forgot how bad chocolate frogs were. Yeah, I would say the Harry Potter land was the biggest disappointment of the trip, except for the really good pictures I got from there. Because I got this picture, and I look really, really good in those pictures. So, next is the standout land, I would say, and that is Isle of Berk. In my previous video, part 1 of this review, I did talk about how it feels like the most complete land, and I'm, it's right. That's right. I'm correct. 3 rides, 1 show, 1 mind-blowing show, and amazing food, just life everywhere. And it feels like you're there. You're alive. You're enjoying life. And that's what we want between the, kids playground, all the interactive, like, animatronics that are everywhere, which I guess they're not really interactive, but you can watch them. There's like water features. It's gorgeous. Really gorgeous. And while it might not be the most like high-tech area, other than the animatronics, I think it's the best themed. I think we are there. It is family friendly. It is, without really losing that theming. And that's what the rest of the park is missing. Is it, other than like, I would say Nintendo, which does some of this, which does it really well as well. I just like personally didn't like, I got really overwhelmed there. This area knocks the park out of the high quality, children, family friendly, all ages theming, which sometimes you're like, oh, it's for kids. It could be like a little bit less themed. No. They were like, oh, silly water ride, highly themed. Playground, which I guess most theme park playgrounds are highly themed, but still, the show, I want to talk about the show. I think, the coaster's a really fun coaster. The flat rides are really fun flat rides. I don't really have much to say about those other than I had a blast on all of them. Except for the one that spins. I think if you're waiting 90 minutes in a ride, it lasts like 15 seconds. Maybe not the best. I think the rider put through on that is kind of bad, but it's a fun ride no matter what. So cool, whatever. I'm glad it's there. I'm glad we have flat rides in this park. The show is, granted, a little corny, a little cheesy, a little silly, but wow. I am just like, I'm thinking of the moment, and I knew this is how it, spoilers, again, I knew this would happen, where like Hiccup and Toothless fly out over you, but I just like wasn't anticipating how cool it would look. I was just like looking up, I was like, oh my God. And then the other animatronics on stage, I was like, wow, this is like, wasn't expecting any of that. I thought the story was really sweet and cute. And I think it's really, really good for all ages. It's also AC, and it's really nice to be in AC and sitting down. So this is like that's the one thing you should not miss out on of the shows. Like Harry Potter showed, I missed it, and I'm not like, I'm upset about it, but I'm not like, it's not the end of the world. If I missed this show, I would have been genuinely heartbroken. And then this is something I actually didn't get to do, was the meet and greet with Toothless and Hiccup, or sometimes with just a random dragon trainer if Hiccup's like on lunch. Was not waiting 70 minutes for that line. I would have had to rope dropped it to be able to do it. And I think the next time I go, I'm going to do that. I'm definitely rope dropping this run. I do wish I could have met them. I think the animatronic of Toothless that they have out there is so incredibly technology cool. I love a robot. I love an animatronic. I think they're just, it's so fascinating how somebody who that smart is able to make like just a fun robot. I love a fun robot. I love using robots and robotics and science for storytelling. I think it's amazing, and it's just so cool. Also, I had a really good salmon bowl there. At like the I think it's the Spitfire Grill. I had an amazing salmon bowl, and I love healthy theme park food. Do not make me eat chicken tenders all day. Give me something healthy that's good for me, and also isn't crazy expensive. I think it was under $20, which is about what I'd pay for it like other places. Now, the rides that I didn't get to do were the Stardust Racers, like I said. And I am okay with skipping that one. I'm not a big ride person. And then the show, the Harry Potter show. So like nothing crazy that I missed. I think the accessibility pass helped me a great deal with getting everything done. But also if you get the, unlimited pass, I think, or whatever it's called, whatever's Universal's Fast Pass is called, that would really help you. Unless, and this is the park's biggest fault, if it rains or if there's lightning in the area, like what happened with us. If there is lightning in the area, then you're out of luck for most of the rides. They will shut down, which is upsetting. But there are, enough inside activities. I do wish there was more little things around where you can kind of fill your time. But that's okay. Like, it's only been open for like 2 months at this point. Things will change. Things will be added. I'm, not going to be too critical on that, because I think we need to remember that it is a new park and that there will be stuff added to it. I think it needs stuff added to it. And I know that there's expansion pads. I think that's really good that they have that there are plans in place. I know there's been rumors of plans. We'll see. I do really appreciate how Universal is pushing the boundaries of storytelling in themed entertainment. As someone who is a fan of both Universal and Disney, it really does help both parks when one is pushing boundaries. If they get complacent, then us as guests, we're going to get bored. And I think Disney was getting a little complacent there for a few years. Because, Universal wasn't doing much because Epic was under construction. But now that Epic is ramping up and it's open, well, we're getting a lot of stuff. For dining, I actually don't have too much to say because we kind of just ate food. I talked about the baguette that was good and the salmon bowl, and that's about it. We got some little snacks, but nothing spectacular. Food is not something that I'm searching out for in parks. So I'm going to not talk too much about that. The merch was good there. I got some really good pins. I spent a lot of money on pins. I obviously got this. I got a Dark Universe t-shirt, and I also got an Epic Universe hat first thing in the morning because it was so hot. I needed a hat and I forgot mine. I also needed to buy new sunscreen because the one we brought didn't work. So that really sucked. That is something I definitely recommend. Tips: bring or buy a full-size sunscreen because those mini sunscreens, they don't work. I don't know what it is about it. They just do not protect you like a full size thing of sunscreen does. Maybe it was the brand we got. Maybe the one we got was just off or expired. If you can Uber or DoorDash or Amazon deliver some good sunscreen, or just go somewhere to get new sunscreen. That way you're not like us, morning at the park and spending, I don't even want to say how much I spent on sunscreen because it really is disgusting how much I spent on sunscreen and a hat. Now, the question is, when should you visit Epic Universe? Because you should visit Epic Universe, but I do think maybe wait till 2026. Maybe wait. Or if you already have tickets, that's good. I would give it some time to settle in because there definitely are opening pains, growing pains that you can feel as you're in the park, which is okay. It's a new theme park. There hasn't been one for a while. I'm not judging here. I'm just stating the fact that maybe give it a year for things to kind of work out operations wise, that kind of stuff, for things to settle. I think next spring is a really good time to go. Summer is iffy just by how hot it is. But the one good thing about Florida is that the trees grow so fast. The trees that they have planted are like little small now, but they've already grown a good bit and they will grow so much by next year. So I think the shade issue, other than in Super Nintendo world, like I said, it is not as big of an issue as people are saying, because it will be improved upon as the time goes by, because we are actively comparing this new theme park with the only thing we know of in Florida, which is old theme parks. So, you know, it just is how it is. It is how it is. You know, if you want my advice, go. I think it is really fantastic. It has its faults, like I said, and just be aware of those faults. It's like every other theme park. It's not perfect. And people had these such high, grand expectations that they're, you know, when you have faults, you're going to be like, oh, well, it's awful then. No, it's not bad. It just has problems. Disney has problems. The other Universal parks had problems. Islands of Adventure, when that park opened, it was notoriously awful, terrible. And now it's some people's favorite park. I think it's one of my top parks. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a fantastic park. I'm excited to see what Universal has in store for us in the next couple years with all 3/4 of their parks. I am so excited for all the innovation and the storytelling that we are going to be seeing. I just love theme parks and I love storytelling, and this is so fantastic that we get to experience all these wonderful things. In the comments, please share what you are excited for at Epic Universe if you have not been yet, or if you, I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't been. I guess you don't care about spoilers, which I do get actually. Some people like to know what they're getting into. And if you've already been, please tell me your reviews. Give me your thoughts. I want to hear what other people have to say. I was banking up and saving Epic Universe park reviews as I was like waiting to get to the park. And then once I got them, I was like on the plane home with some downloaded for podcasts. And then I was like listening to them while I was doing laundry when I got home, just like hearing what other people had to say about these parks. Granted, then it was a lot of media preview, which a very different experience than if you were actually there. Thank you so much for watching. Part 3 of this series will be out along with these other 2 parts. It is an accessibility review. That one will get a little down and dirty on some of these little things that I have problems with. But thank you so much for watching. I hope to do a follow-up review of this park as well when I get to go the next time, which will probably be next year, and see how it's changed after a year, see if I have different opinions about things, see if I actually like Mario Kart in a year. I liked Mario Kart. I just headache, like I said. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I will have so many videos. My new upload schedule will be every single Sunday, a new video out. I also post every single day on TikTok, and I have a new Instagram. I will be linking. I'm still trying to figure out because I can't quite rename it because it was my old Instagram name, and I'm making that personal Instagram, and now this is like my content Instagram. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you have a really nice day. Thank you so much for watching. I really had a really good time today. Bye!